because the beef comes from Kansas. All right? So the best part about this is that when I think around, I like to think a story in the Bible from Nehemiah. So Nehemiah was tasked with, when he got to go back to Israel, to building a wall, actually building Jerusalem again. But he couldn't do it by himself. So what he did was he tasked everybody in Jerusalem to build the walls by their house, so they could defend Israel from invaders. The thing about it is, so all those people that built that wall, there's actually a chapter in the Bible. And a chapter in the Bible lists all the people that, Nehemiah 3, I think, lists all the people that actually helped build the wall. The thing about that is, we don't read that chapter. Nobody reads that chapter, right? Nobody reads a chapter that lists all the names. Oh, that's this and this guy and that guy. No, we skip over it and get to the next chapter because we need action, right? So, when I say this, those people all have families. They didn't do it by themselves. The Nehemiah in this story is probably Jim Walker. All right? But what Jim Walker had to do is he had to task all of us to build this from a communal basis. So we went back to our communities and we were instructed to build these chapters. So the guy in chapter 3 that we look over, well, his name is Roland Thompson. All right? He's in that chapter somewhere. I don't know why I didn't read it. Point being is we have this big book, right, from CFI. And this book is everybody that's ever been certified. We love that book. We're not going to read that book unless we look into it, right? But Roland here, and I like to say Roland's been doing floor covering so long. You all heard my White House story the other day. But there's one more thing you should know. I just saw these things. And these are both instruction manuals from, well, the turn of the century. Not this century, last century. So if you look at this, you look back at 1900, and look at that, shows you how to power stretch, shows you how to do all these neat things in here. The best part about it is if you look at the people that are responsible for writing this, one of them is Roland Thompson. He's been around since 1901. Just teasing, Colin. But what he's going to do is he's going to talk to us about chapters. I do have one other thing. Roland, thank you for the check. Roland gave me a check for saying all these nice things about it. Also up here, Roland, just so you can go all afternoon, I got you a cup of coffee. All right, there you go. And so for the next 4.5 hours, guys, it's a short lunch. You're going to be listening to Roland Thompson talk about chapter. Roland, come on up, please.
All right. Well. Oh, yeah. Give me a lot. Thanks a lot. Anyway. CFI! All right. Let's hear this side of the room. I want to hear C. Middle F. This side I. And then everybody chapters. Let's try it. Oh, come on. Do I have to have 2 more tables over there? All right. Almost halfway and over. Let's hit it. C-F-I chapter. All right. When CFI started, chapters were really big. And people like Jim and Jane, Harris and Karen, Bob Gillespie, if he's in here, they used to travel every weekend. And they would sit there and go around the country and they would certify installers. And before they left, they worked and got people to understand that it was their job to get a chapter going and keep the installation alive in that area. At that time, We had 37, 38 chapters working together in a unit around the country. And a lot of people wondered how we built so fast, and it was people like that were enthused and ready to go that kept CFI alive. And how many members at one time, Jim, did you have in the Kansas City chapter? Jane, I better ask Jane. Jane, Jim can't remember anything. How many people did you have in that chapter? What's that? 52. 52. All right. So, that was 52 installers going around the Kansas City area, supporting and building up each installer. I can't move. Each installer, and keep it together and keep building that community. Us, you sit there and think about different organizations like the Elks. You think of, let's say the Girl Scouts. Normally it wasn't big cookies if they just had one location and they all stayed good. But they got areas all over the country. They got their section that they cover in the area. If you don't believe me, go to Walmart one day and be doing their cookie sales and see how many of them are hanging around there, selling cookies. But, that's what we need to do to keep our trade alive. And we've been talking about young people, getting young people in this industry. This is where we can pull in young people. Because they can now know and see us in the area. It's our job. It's for what we need to do and what we want to do. So what we're going to do here, because if you see those papers, and if you don't have one of those tables, because you still got 30 golfers out there that's not finished up, that sort of gives you, they're yours to take. Also, there's a lot of them have a blue badge on your table. You are now all in this room and on it. Am I too loud?
No, blue badge here.
No badge right behind you. You don't want one? That's because you're part of the old Dalton chapter that used to give me a hard time. He gave me a pair of panties one time on stage. He gave me these early panties, It's a family, what? I ain't telling you. It's a secret, I'm going to grab it. Anyway, we had fun with chapters when we were going. I got roasted a few times. Anyway, but everybody here, until you get a chapter in your area, our Delmarva chapter does not want you to feel left out. So we are making all of these honorary members of the Delmarva chapter. If you have any questions, you want any advice, we're there. If you can't get a hold of National, we're there to help us out. So everybody here, that is for you to have. It fits real good on your badge. So everybody's an honorary member, and that's what that is for. It wasn't reserved seating. Anyway, pretty much every state. And I think a few times it's been mentioned that the Delmarva chapter was the only chapter left. We're probably the most active chapter that is left. But there's still 3 more chapters out there that I sort of want to recognize that still is in operation and are still going. And one is the Louisville, Kentucky chapter with Rod Van Bush. You want to stand up, Rod? The Fort Wayne, Indiana chapter. Is Tony and Michael in here? Building steps. Well, the most important one that's now here that I know is going to help them and get involved and make them stronger again is Tammy over there anyway. So Tammy is the husband is the president, I think, of that chapter. And then, giving Delmarva maybe a little bit of fear, a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, is a Wisconsin chapter. Now that Jay and Jen are moving back to Wisconsin and getting that going again. Well, Jay and Jen, they used to give us a run for our money every year. You stand up, you need to stand up and be shot. So those three chapters still, and Nate Hall is back there with them. He was trying to hold it by himself, and we're going to go over there and explain why he really can't. They're still there. They hadn't dissolved. They're still in operation. So they don't have to take my Delmarva badge. All right. So, we're going to sort of go through this. Why, if you see people, why have a chapter? They are and always have been the backbone of CFI. Without chapters, it's really hard to keep things going in an area. So, you need chapters to keep things going. They promote CFI to local installers, like I said a few minutes ago. This is where we used to get a lot of these, young guys who hear about it, or they get brought to one of our get-togethers that we have and hear about it and get excited about it and come to a certification. So they promote CFI to local installers. They open door to local dealers in the area. And I know a lot of you wonder why I said that and why I said they open doors. Is because they really do. Because when the local dealers understand what CFI stands for, because they're afraid of CFI, some of them are. And if you as a chapter goes in and you promote it properly, you can really open up the dealers. And we'll go over that when I have about what's a strong chapter. So it really helps in the area. They help build a relationship to local distributors. Lee Clark, how does the Delmarva help up fishermen? What's your feeling with that?
Well, fishermen support CFI 100%, and this group here has been around for many years, and we always have someone on our staff being part of his organization, and we have Mary, who is our purchasing agent, part of her staff. But the relationship between fishermen and CFI and Roland Thompson's group here is just tremendous. We get a lot of support from them. We try to treat the installers, the CFI installers, even one step better than the regular installers by giving discounts and so forth. And when there's through CFI, we've supported some of the Goodwill organizations down in the South by donating pools and so forth as well. So I believe that Roland's efforts are just stellar.
So that's what I'm saying, as the chapters, because you're a unit, and you can come in and you can show the distributors and show them what you can do and what you stand for. So, CFI, having a chapter is just invited for distributors in the local. It shows consumers that there's a difference with installation. When a CFI installer comes in and he has that shirt on and he has that badge on and he's clean, and his truck is clean, what we stand for, consumers see a difference.
Yeah.
They really do. So it helps with the consumers with the installation. And we're talking to the mill. I'm telling you, and when we've got mill guys out there, they know when you're talking to a CFI installer that knows what he's talking about. Would you say, Jerry? Now that you give me a hard time?
Don't know what it's talking about, for sure.
What's that? Stand up and not. But, the mills, if an installer that's been trained and went through your trainings and went through our trainings, they know the difference. So CFI helps you even with the mills when there's an issue or a problem. So those are some of the reasons to have a chapter. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over what makes a strong chapter. Because getting a chapter is really the easy part of the equation. You know, you just need to get officers, building a strong set of officers that work together and build up each other. That is vital. You can start a chapter, and that is the number one reason the chapters are failed. Is that the next line item, one person cannot do it alone. And when Dave, Dave played into part of my talk, is that he talked about people building on the wall by their houses. You know, you can't do it by yourself. You need the other people, the officers that you have in your board, you need them. Because if you don't have it, a person trying to do it by himself is going to burn out. There's been many times now I'm sitting there going, it could have easily burned out. But I got a strong set of chapters. I got George Johnson, I got Scott Ballard, I got Johnny Himes. Guys have been in my certifications. Who was all there? You know, how many people I have there from our chapter helping you guys work out? A lot, didn't I? Yes, sir. Because they're there to support me. They're there to help me, whenever we do something. And you got to have them, because I couldn't do it without them. I couldn't, I usually, the broken-hearted thing that happened this year was, you take football. Pro football, the quarterback gets, everybody looks at the quarterback, it gets all the glory, and everybody's all right. My team is the Detroit Lions. Yes, they're the Detroit Lions. We had a quarterback named Stafford. He's a good quarterback. He never had a good line. He went out to California, got a good line. What did he do? He ended up winning the Super Bowl. Because he was the face. But if he didn't have that line, because all these years he didn't have a line, he couldn't make it. But once he got that help, the people that protected him, the people that gave him that help he needed, then he went to the top. That's the same thing with the chapters. You gotta have a good, set of officers and a good set of board members. Invite at least one dealer and one distributor to your board. Now, they can't be officers. They have to be installers of your officers. The president, the vice president, and your treasurer have to be officers. But does not mean you can't have them as your board. We had a super dealer, we haven't replaced him yet, named Junior Harris. He supported us so much, and he was an advocate so much for us. And he broke the ice with a lot of dealers for us because he supported us so much. And like Dean said, we have fishermen and other ones in the area that are strong distributors. So you need to get them on your board. You need to get them involved. Because how many times we've used fishermen's facility to do certifications? One time they thought I was living there. We had done so many certifications or trainings or something for them. So you need to have that. You've got to have that to be a strong chapter. All right? Next is get dealers and distributors to understand the meaning of what we stand for. It's not far enough with this, but I can't stand anything against that. Anyway, one of the main things with dealers is they're afraid to send their people to training, whether it be a certification, whether it be just a training to another place. They're so afraid of losing their good installers that they're going to be taken from them because somebody's going to try to do them. You have to, as a strong chapter, sit there and make them understand what you stand for. And that would never happen at one of our certifications. We're strong in that. I've had that happen. I've had dealers come, and before the first break, I could tell this dealer was talking to installers. And I told the installers wouldn't know what he was talking about. If they found out who was asking them, their name, where they were, insinuating that, he wanted them, I'd ask them to leave. Simple as that. You cannot let any of that go on at your meetings and your trainings. And the thing is once your dealers and then know that that's a anyway, so once they know that's not going to go on, they're more apt. Make them understand what you stand for, and make them know what CFI stands for: quality, integrity. They want to know that too. Join the local flooring association if you have one. That was a big one for us. I've been actually accused that I use them too much. And they help make our chapter what we are. And they work to a certain degree, they're right, they do. I'm on the executive board of the Mid-Atlantic Flooring Association. I'm their education director. And so it's very easy for me to sit there, and I was actually the president for 2 years. And they know what CFI stands for. They know what we want. And I could send our flyer out to them and utilize their director to send everything to all the dealers. So, get involved in the flooring association if you have one in your area. That's going to make a strong chapter. It's going to help you out, and it gets the dealers to understand what you stand for and who you are. All right? Join the local building association, and they see the difference. And what we've done there is that we join the association, and they have a trade show every year that consumers come in and buy flocks. You get a booth. You set up this set of steps that you guys are going to be seeing next, about steps. Set up a little stretch room, or set something up that you're putting some hard surface in. Do a little pattern or design, and do that during that show. The people that come by and you have, your cards there, the CFI stickers, and everything else, utilize them. And there again, it helps bring younger people in, because younger people come through there, just to talk maybe about a job or something. So get involved with your local building association. You can do it. You don't have to be a builder to be a member. They're going to take your money no matter what. They don't care. It's free money. So get involved with your local building association. Involve the installers on what type of meetings they need and want. This is a big one. Because the installers have things that they struggle with and they have problems with. And if you're just doing the same old all the time at your meetings, you start losing attendance. You need to make the meetings fun. You need to make the meetings, to where they want to come. So listen to them. Listen to what they want, and go after what they want to do. It's cost us some nice trips and everything else. I had guys saying they wanted to go through a woven mill. We scheduled it this before COVID. Can't do it now. We scheduled it. We went up to Bloomsburg. We've done it twice now. We went to the Bloomsburg mill. Some of the pictures I have on the chat thing will have that. Show pictures of us there. We wanted to go see how fiber was made. We made a trip down to the fiber mill. We went through that, seen it extracted, seen it made, Then one day they said they wanted to go to Dalton. 3 days. I'm driving the van, 15 guys, and they're all sleeping, and me driving. One fun. But we spent 3 days. And we went to the Latin mill, we went to Shaw's mill, and then we went to a laminate mill, and then there was ACAC, one of the good companies invited us over, and we had a chapter party at their glue place, and went through the glue manufacturers. So this is the so that's stuff we do. We're a little bit more intense on doing that kind of stuff. You don't have to do that. One thing we did, I thought was going to be pretty easy, we threw a Christmas party, and Fishman and all them, and Pay, I mean, I had so many stuff, there were pictures of it there. Everybody got probably so much swag they couldn't go home with, with shirts and tracks and stuff, and Roberts and stuff, and it started out the first year I had it, we had 25 people there. By the third year, we were over 80.
Nice.
Came. I was getting called wanting to know when the Christmas party was. I said, you don't need money to it. We'll have it. No. But, have something like that. We just had a certification at my location. What did we do for lunch, Dan?
Barbecue.
We barbecued. We had a grill brought in. We barbecued cheeseburgers and hot dogs and potato salad and all that stuff. The first day, the next day was barbecue chicken and brats and that. We didn't bring no pizza.
No beer either.
Right. You forget who was at my place. I wanted it standing when he was left.
You invited George. So.
What?
You invited George.
I brought it, George, yeah. Very. So, ask what they want. Get them involved. It's not just your board that you're using. You can utilize anybody in the chapter. Listen to what they do. Really have fun get-togethers. It doesn't always have to be about product. It does not always have to be about, something. Just have to get together and have a get-together. Because that keeps you involved, it keeps them coming, it keeps them wanting to be there. And it keeps them, when I call them and tell them we're doing something for free, they still come. I've asked my chapter members, we've done 6 Building for America's Bravest houses with 18 and 19 guys coming to help, give their time and their day to do flooring for that organization. Matter of fact, it was CFI, it's called the Travis Mills Foundation up in Rome, Maine. CFI had said that they would do the flooring in the whole was it 3,200 square feet, 3,600 square feet, Jay? All right? Jay Zern, I made a phone call. We had to come up with people. Jay Zern, got him Nick, and came over from Wisconsin. Don Perkins. And was his dad with him or was his worker with him? His dad was with him, money. And his father came from Connecticut. And I grabbed George and that, and we headed up. We mapped it out in 3 days. It's a giving group. Why? Because we're all chapter members. We all knew what CFI stood for. So this is what the chapters are about. This is where we can be strong. And so I challenge you guys, to go back, build yourself a strong board. As I said, if you don't have a strong board, you're not going to make it. You're going to burn out after a couple of years. You're just not going to be able to do it. You can't do it by yourself. All right? So, be the go-to person for the dealers and the consumers. Make you be the people they call when they have concerns and issues. I get calls from dealers all the time that say, hey, my installer's on site, and they know they can have their installer call me. And he'll say, I'm at this position. It's not just me. They can call George, they can call Johnny, they can call Scott Brown, they can call Scott. Because they know that we're going to give them the answer, and if we don't know the answer, whether they're going to make one up or call somebody we know. That knows it, because I wouldn't hesitate to call somebody to get an answer. So, be the go-to person. So before I start wrapping this up, because I know you have other meetings, you guys want to have your break, a little bit of a break before you go. I'm going to have Jen and Jay Zern stand. You mind standing? Well, she didn't get the room, did she? She was in Port Company? Oh, you said with Rod, I forgot. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that happened. All right? We'll just keep standing. Is Don Perkins in there, and he's helping out with one of the things? What's that? He's still coughing. All right. The reason I have Jay standing, since he's by himself. No, excuse me. What am I talking about? Jose and Chris are standing. Where's your brother? You stand up in your place. Even though your name's wrong, you still with me. All right? Okay. All right. And you'll hear what I'm talking about in a minute. All right? One thing CFI has done, they have been all over the country, has been that call at my asking. One of the things I've asked them to do, it was happening when I traveled the country doing a show on the Food Network called Restaurant Impossible. If you come in, you can we have less than 48 hours to figure out what's wrong with the old floor, what needs to be done, come up with a solution, and get in a new floor before morning. And usually we can't get started till 6, 7, 8, usually times 9, 10 at night. And by morning we need to be done because they have to set up and put up and have things done. So we're under pressure. And there has not been one time that we have not been done by morning when they came in and setting up. These people here have done multiple. They just happened to in Michigan. What? Oh, stand up, Ruben. Who are you going to help me in Alabama? This is what I'm saying. So many. You don't know how many have helped. You know? Sorry, Ruben. You know, I just thought Jen was there with you, and, you know, I was distracted. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, Jay. Anyway, okay, so, Robert Devine, who's the chef of the show, the star of the show, wanted to say something to you people. Go ahead and hit it.
I'm so honored to be speaking to you all today from the set of Restaurant Impossible. Throughout my 13 plus years on this show, I've had the extreme pleasure of working with so many of your colleagues with CFI. Talented people like George Johnson III, Jay and Jen Zern, Don Perkins, Jose Cristo Gonzalez, Tim Bell, Joe Sierra, and of course, my amazing friend Roland Thompson. Roland has worked with 90 episodes of Restaurant Impossible, including this one that I stand on right now. On every episode, he shows up with a smile on his face, as filling his step, despite the ridiculous demands that I put on him and his team. But we figure out some love and speak lots about Roland, as that he brings people together from all over the country to help us, while training them at the same time we're putting floors down. CFI is an organization of installers that are family and always ready to help, no matter what the tall task is at hand. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to Roland and all the amazing CFI installers that I have had the pleasure of working with throughout the years. And thank you for all that you do. Have a great conference, and the Restaurant Impossible team, we thank you and take care.
That's where CFI makes a difference. I want to thank everybody for coming. Give you a couple of minute break before since I'm losing everybody going and doing the meetings. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Right? Yeah.
Roy's back.
The Louisville chapter is now handing out $1,000 bonuses if you join the Louisville chapter. See Rod. All right?
All right, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, back. Yeah, would be fun enough. What do you have to do that to? I decided not to bring it.
I didn't realize that even happened.
What was it? Beer, hot dogs, burgers. Beer was nice. Are you guys putting that, like, you streaming that live then? You're doing that on the CFI one or the? What are your guys'?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.